thank you so much again for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. So this is the Growth Mastermind group call. We do these calls every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. So to just go ahead and jump right into it, I'm sure you need no introduction. Everybody knows you, but to follow tradition, we always do like a little intro here. So, all right, guys. So David Meltzer is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as CEO of the renowned Leigh Steinberg Sports Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. All right. His life mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. He is a 3-time international best-selling author, a top 100 business coach, executive producer of Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch, and the host of the top entrepreneur podcast, The Playbook. His newest book, Game Time Decision Making, which I'm currently listening to on Audible, was a #1 new release. And he was also recognized by Variety magazine as their Sports Humanitarian of the Year, as well as awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. So, yeah, so once again, a huge welcome, Mr. David. It's so cool to have you here on our show. I've been following you for a bit now. Your Zoom calls on Fridays have been amazing. This last one was fantastic. So, all right, so just to kind of jump into it. And, I want to lead with this. One thing I noticed from your interviews on the YouTube and even just like listening to you narrate your book on Audible, you just have like such a positive energy. Like you seem like you have like a really strong mindset. It's almost like such a strong positive aura is the best way to describe it. So somebody like me, like sometimes I'll kind of fall out of that, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So I wanted to lead our first question and just ask you, man, like how did you develop such a positive attitude and such a positive mindset?
Two things. One, born a positive person. So I think everybody has different quantum genetics. They have DNA that predisposes them to certain talents and skills and potential. So I was blessed, even though born into some pretty dire circumstances, being able to utilize what I call a quantum memory, a DNA that was predisposed to be happy. I call it the happiness gene. But more importantly, taking on the philosophy and perspective that happiness is a practice. And so practicing positivity, learning the skills of positivity, having the knowledge of positivity, and then understanding the difference between motivation and inspiration and knowing how that connection that I have to this unbelievable source of power, unbelievable source of positivity, of energy, of light, of love and lessons. And how can I utilize that continuum from my conscious behavior, what I think, say, and do, to my subconscious behavior, my disciplines, my habits, my belief systems, to my unconscious competency, that predisposition of what my potential of happiness is, nobody else's. And so when I made that my practice, my pursuit, and my study, I was able to effectuate, like you say, a different aura, a different energy, a different vibration, and a different frequency. But I'm 52 years old, and I've been seriously practicing it for 13 years, unconsciously and subconsciously on the journey of it, probably since I've been 5.
Right on. No, yeah, it totally makes sense. And you do touch upon unconscious competency in the book. I gotta get a hard copy, man. Like I listen to it, in the mornings when I'm working out and just doing
email me, I'll send
stuff.
you one, or you can buy one on Amazon. Either way, I give my stuff if I can. So just email me. I'll pay for shipping, or if you want to buy it, it's on Amazon. Either way.
Absolutely. I think everybody needs to have a hard copy. There's so many nuggets in there. I could just highlight that book all day. It's amazing.
Perfect. We got a couple others too I'll send to you. Connected to Goodness, Compassionate Capitalism, Creating the Light You Love, with Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul. I wrote a little workbook for everyone. So there are a lot of things out there that I'll give you for free.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. And let's see. So my second question for you today is, with so many milestone accomplishments, I mean, that's just a tremendous, tremendous list of just life goal milestone accomplishments. So I wanted to ask you, I mean, with accomplishing so many things, like what is it that's keeping you motivated today?
I think you mentioned it, right? My ultimate goal in life is to create a collective consciousness of happiness. I think happiness itself is a disease. It's a virus. It's the most powerful virus in the world. It is the only virus you can spread by witnessing it. It strengthens your immune system. It doesn't weaken your immune system. So my goal is to find 1,000 people like you, Tony, and others on here to teach them how to empower another 1,000 people to empower another 1,000 people. Because if I can impact over 1 billion people in my lifetime to teach them the tools of happiness, a collective consciousness of abundance will take place. A complete shift in the paradigm on our entire earth will take place. One little particle of light overcomes millions of particles of darkness. And I just want to be a humble force, proving to everyone that it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, that you have that capability. I've done the math, reversed engineered it, connected the dots backwards to over 1 billion people. And I spend my Sunday nights doing these types of things in order to effectuate it. Like you said, I have free trainings every Friday for everyone. I give my books for free to everyone. I do some private group and private one-on-ones for people that, I can guarantee profitability to. So I never am a drain on the economy. If it bleeds, if I ever bleeds, you got to kill it. So I'm a feed person. I plant seeds, I grow trees, I water the seeds, and my goal is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy in my life.
Amazing. No, that's, yeah. And if you could also let us know as well, folks here on the call, how they could go ahead and reach out to you and connect with you, whether it's by email or phone, or, if you wanted to.
I'll put my email up there. It's david@dmeltzer.com under my name. You can also text me, everyone. Join my text community. You'll get everything you need. Is 949-298-2905, 949-298-2905. So share that with everyone. But I answer all my emails myself. You can email me directly at david@dmeltzer.com. And all the rest of the stuff is at David Meltzer, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the YouTube, at David Meltzer. My website's obviously dmeltzer.com, is stated right there.
Mr. Meltzer, I have also a question. I'm following you, and every time I see you on Instagram, I'm trying always to kind of, sorry about that. I always trying to kind of get to it and get that, I would say, mindset that it is necessary for a person to get discipline. For me, everything is about the discipline. It is like kind of, I would say, it's kind of like, I would say, challenging for me as a person to be disciplined, to have my mindset in the right spot. So I'm asking you, like, how you gonna train yourself in that one? What is gonna be the nuggets we should like learn and get to it, to get to that point that we're gonna actually be good at being disciplined?
Yeah, well, it's a core of my life. You can't control your future, but you can control your habits, and your habits create your future. That's the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential, your truth. The best way to create habits is to understand how the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious creates habits and disciplines. So the number one thing is consistency. We have 5 senses that are completely inaccurate, that are based off of our memory, which is even more inaccurate. So the only way that we can pervade our system or input into our system is through consistent behavior. So you're way better off lowering the bar and being able to do something every single day to get exponentiality, acceleration, and segment, and try to do something big every Saturday. So lowering the bar is one of the key components, because it allows our stupid senses, the way we see things, hear things, taste things, smell things, and touch things, in order to also rely on our memories, which are even worse. And then we can allow for that exponential acceleration to occur, so that when we do things consistently, we become persistent. There's no quitting. Most people, the biggest problem is with disciplines and habits is they quit. And it's because they don't understand exponentiality, acceleration, growth, and measurement. And they don't trust that their senses are shit. Excuse my language, are bad. And anyway, let me explain how this works. If I held up right now, 20 strings this long, and I held them all up so you could see 20 strings, one after another, and I numbered them. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 20. And I told you that 19 of them were the same size, but one of the strings was a millimeter more. None of you would know which one was a millimeter more. That's how weak our senses are, and our memories couldn't remember. If I told you which one, and you could memorize which one it was, and then I put them all down and I lifted one and said, "Is this it?" None of you could remember. It would be impossible. That's how weak we are. So what happens is that we don't recognize growth and exponentiality because it happens in such small amounts in such a long amount of time. So what happens is People, when they're consistent, on average, when they get to 25% of the way there, they can't tell. And so 99% of the people, they quit when they're 25% of the way there. But not only are they 25% of the way there and not recognizing it, they don't recognize that they're getting there faster. Every day, it's a tiny bit. It's 1 millisecond faster that they're getting there, 1 millisecond faster that they're getting there. And so then out of the 1% that hang on, 99% of those people quit when they're 50% of the way there. They start listening and voting to what other people think, and they lose confidence because people are laughing at them, scoffing at them, making fun of them. The saddest thing is now you got 99% of that 1% is quitting after 50%, and it only took them half as much time to be disciplined and only half as much time to have the habits. The saddest thing is the 1% of the 1% that hang on are half as much time from being 100% of the way there. Those are the ones that live in the empty mile. Those are the ones that live in the extra mile. Those are the ones, and the only way to get there, the only way to allow ourselves to have the exponentiality, the acceleration and growth that we want, is to have disciplines and habits, because our perceptions are going to let us down. Our memory is going to let us down, and our self-doubt, our ego is going to start listening to what everybody else wants for us. Those people are called family and friends. And we're going to go ahead and start voting for what our family and friends want for us. And instead of what we know our consistent disciplined behavior will get us. And so if you can lower the bar and trust the growth, trust the acceleration, you'll get there. So I tell all the people, just look for a millimeter. And if you don't believe in segmentation, growth, and acceleration, you'll get there. Do this right now. Take a millimeter, which none of you could identify if I put it on a table. Take a millimeter and double it 20 times and see how far ahead you are. Double it 40 times. See how many miles and yards or countries you're ahead. Double it 60 times. And then tell yourself, what I have to do through discipline and habits is make each segment get faster. So maybe it takes you a year for segment number one to get from 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters. And you know what? Everyone in the world, if you're like, man, I've worked all year and I've gotten this far, everybody like, dude, you better quit. You're not getting anywhere. But what if it took you 11 months to get twice as far the next time, and then 10 months the next time, and 9 months the next time, and then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then all of a sudden, instead of 1 month, it's 1 week. Instead of 1 week, it's 1 day. Instead of 1 day, it's 1 hour. Then all of a sudden it's 1 minute. Then all of a sudden it's 1 moment that you're going hundreds of miles. Go ahead, do the math. Double a millimeter. See what 20 segments gets you to, 40 segments gets you to, and 60 segments gets you to. Even if it took you a year, I can see your young faces right there. Even me, I'm 52. Even in 60 segments, if I didn't get faster, which is impossible because of the way the human system works with habits and disciplines, you get better and faster. So it's going to take less time each segment. It's going to take less time each segment, the same way you're going to grow each segment. I'm telling you, even if it just took me 60 segments, by the time I'm 112, I am so far ahead of everybody on earth. It's incredible. But what happens is our senses are stupid, our memory's stupid. We start listening and voting for what other people want for us, and we end up getting what other people want for us, which is the same thing that everybody else has, which is ordinary. Those that are extraordinary understand exponential growth, acceleration, segmentation, and they vote for what they want.
Wonderful. Wow. So just like I'm trying to kind of visualize your way of taking this measurement of 1 millimeter and exponentially with time, and especially because I know you have so many companies, you work in so many businesses, and can you kind of walk us through like, for instance, to any of the business that you have, or the one that you have the most growth, or the one that brings you the most money right now, and tell us, what it is, the things that you learn from it, and how you grow inside of that business or among that business, and what lessons you learn. And if somebody wants to get inside of that business, what lesson will you let them know to be aware of, so they can have like a faster start, to say like that?
So over the last 20 years, I've had a bug light business. And initially, the bug light was driven by the athletes and celebrities and entertainers that I work with Leigh Steinberg. Most people know Leigh Steinberg from the movie Jerry Maguire. And so I would use the athletes to get me as much opportunity as I could find. And then I would make my money, not by just representing the athletes, that was baby money. The real money was made by attracting very wealthy people and understanding the synergies between me and my capabilities and opportunities that existed of how I could buy low, buy something oversold, be an agent, a broker, a representative, a channel partner, somehow involved with a written monetary agreement in order to effectuate profit. And so as it evolved from being a bug light of other athletes, then I partnered with Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon 12 years ago, and I used him as my bug light in order to attract opportunity that was synergistic or supplementary to the capabilities of me either buying low and selling high, or buying oversold things, or agenting them, or brokering them, or channel partnering them, or somehow figuring out how I could be involved to get a written agreement to monetize that opportunity. Because I've always learned the simplest way to make money, because I lost more money than anyone in 2008, was why don't I just find something oversold and either buy it, broker it, agent it, partner with it, do something with it with a written agreement that I can monetize it. Then about 3 years ago, almost 3 years and 4 months now, when I met with Gary Vaynerchuk and he wanted me to help him with his sports agency, I wanted to create my own brand so I could be my own bug light, so I could look for opportunities that were synergistic without having to pay commissions to interference or any type of introduction fee or finder's fee to anybody else. It was just simply me attracting people by helping them, by creating a void that I could fill, and then allowing my capabilities. Through the whole process over 2 decades, I have concentrated, though, not on the outcomes. I've concentrated on the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, developing my skills, developing my knowledge, and working and clearing the interference and corrosion between me and that powerful light of love, lessons, and power that I'm always connected to. If anyone's out there right now in the COVID wondering what you're supposed to be doing, I'll tell you an easy way. I'll give you all the margins of millionaires and where they're made. More millionaires are made during the Depression. More millionaires will be made during this time than any other time in the last 13 years. And we've been through the strongest economy ever for 13 straight years. I'm going to give it to you straight. This is exactly how you all make money. 1, identify your capabilities, and then go ahead and look at the companies in the stock market, the 50 top companies that are doing the best. See how your capabilities are synergistic, supplementary to those companies, industries, or careers that are making money right now. And find out how you can buy low, sell high, agent them, broker them, channel partner, or do anything else with a written agreement in order to monetize what's doing well right now. 2, go to the 50 companies that are most stable right now and go and look at those, the ones that 50 stock companies that have months. Once again, look at the capabilities that you have that are synergistic and supplementary to those. Broker, agent, whatever, you will make money for the rest of your life in those. And then finally, go look for the 50 companies that have been most emotionally oversold, the ones that have been crushed. And then once again, see the synergistic capabilities, synergistic and supplementary that you have to those 50, and prepare for the future of how you can make money. If your capabilities are not aligned with any of those 150 companies, then go find somebody's that are. So I don't take that excuse. Oh, dude, I'm a toll booth operator. I don't care, right? And if they're not selling toll booths and you don't know about, ticket collection or whatever else capabilities you have sitting in the toll booth, or you're a poet and they're not paying poets right now and they never have, and it's not in any of those 50 companies, then go find and ask for help. Somebody, an industry expert that's been around 30, 40 years that does have capabilities, synergistic or supplementary to one of those 50 companies, and ask how you could be of service or of help. And then get a written agreement of how you can profit from bringing them deals, helping them, being mentored by them, creating the relationships. I promise all of you on this call, all 34 of you or 33 of you, if that's counting me, but we might as well count me, all 34 of us, we will live in the margins of millionaires. You'll start smiling through this struggle. You'll sit there and go, why have I made everything difficult when all I had to do was see what capability I have, provide service or value, and ask for help from either sponsors. Those are people that know somebody to help you, or power sponsors. Those are someone that can help you themselves and know somebody that can help you. There are no gatekeepers. There's no resistance. There's no overcoming obstacles, voids, and shortages in this deep depression or whatever else you think is going on. There's only people that want to sponsor you and people that want to power sponsor you. And you have to identify and take inventory of your values, personal, experiential, giving and receiving, in order to effectuate that. And if you need any help, my email's right there. I can help guide you in the right directions in a few minutes and change your life. I have the private side of what I do. My training's on Friday. I promise you that 90 days, 180 days from there, you'll be wondering why you were ever making things so difficult, no matter what the extraneous circumstances, the uncertainty, the exponential change that's occurring around you. It does not mean shit. You all have the capabilities of getting what you want in your life by being smart, by raising your awareness and getting clarity, balance, and focus in what you want and being confident in it because you take inventory of your value.
That is awesome. And it's funny, I actually had a question, but you definitely went above and beyond on that topic with the question I was going to ask you. So yeah, I think that one's answered. Peter, did you want to go ahead and ask him a question? Because I see here in chat, some folks here on the call have some questions or.
Yeah, sure. You know, like the only thing I'm trying to kind of find out it is what was like to be like, you know, I know that you work years ago with a large corporation. I'm not going to name it if you're not going to name it. And in the market, and you were a pioneer in that industry. I basically, the first time I heard about you, it was to Ed Milet interview that you had with him. And that was one of the stories that it was inside of that interview. And I'm asking, you know, like knowing that you start like 30 years ago in this, in the business as entrepreneur, what was the most fulfilling part as an entrepreneur that you learn and you kind of take it with you all this year and you still have it as a value?
Yeah, for me, it's the idea, number one, of things coming through me for others, not for me. Right? Most of my entrepreneurial career, everything was for me. I was an optimist, but things were for me so I could do things for others. Instead, I see everything as coming through me. And then the other variable is time. If I could teach people productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, I have beat people with math and time my entire career. I have what I call activity I get paid for. I produce 64 hours of productivity a day. So I have 16 hours of activity that I'm focused in on that I get paid for a day, 7 days a week, because I don't believe in work. I vacation every day and I have activity I get paid for and I don't get paid for. But most people on average have 8 hours of productivity if they're lucky. I make sure that I have 16 hours of productivity. I do it twice as efficiently by taking inventory of my values, by asking and attracting, by being a student of my calendar, by doing things now and practicing ending fear. And then I do things more effectively. So I practice things statistically successful in what I do. So 16 hours of productivity times 2 is 32 with efficiency, times 2 is 64 with statistical success. You can get way ahead in life when you have 64 hours of productivity a day, 7 days a week. You're working 50, what you guys would call work. I'm getting activity I get paid for 50, equivalent to 56 days a week compared to an average person. 56 days every week I get paid. So I always tell people, I'm really not overpaid. I'm just beating you with math. You're not just clear enough to understand. Some of the funny things I do real quick, I love giving pragmatic advice. I'll give everybody 2 weeks vacation right now. I always have had a habit of looking for 4 minutes I can save a day. If I can save 4 minutes, I'm going to save 24 hours a year. So, whether it's brushing my teeth, where I put my water, whatever it is, I'm always looking for 4 minutes to do things faster. I set all my phone calls to 5 minutes, my meetings to 20. I have a few exceptions during the day, a lot of different rules. But if everybody right now uses this time at home to find a certain spot that you're always going to put your wallet, your phone, and your keys, on average, people waste 80 hours a year looking for their wallet, their phone, and their keys. 80 hours a year is wasted looking for things. That's 2 full weeks of productivity I just gave you in the 30 minutes that I've been with you. It's the number one thing. I just gave you a vacation from your vacation. So go ahead, look at things differently. Look under productivity, which is how much value you can provide. Accessibility, how accessible are you to others, and how are you accessing what you want? And then most importantly, gratitude is the strongest, most powerful thing in the world. Gratitude is the basis of everything I do. You know, you want some more practical advice? Say thank you every day before you go to bed and when you wake up. Drink a gallon of water a day and sleep 8 hours. I promise you, you'll be so far ahead of everybody else. You'll have an incredible life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
I could totally relate. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I don't know where I placed my AirPods. And I have lost this week at least about an hour, hour and a half just looking for those darn things. And yeah, so I could totally relate to you with what you said about having everything in a set place and just how much time you save with that. Like how many of us in the morning, you know, looking for your keys, your cell phone, especially like me, you know, I gotta, where I work at, it's not too far, but with the Miami traffic, it's like an hour away. I'm just running around. I get the coffee in the laptop bag. And so, yeah, I think that'll help a lot of folks out. We do have a couple questions. I think we just have a little bit of time here.
I'll answer them fast.
I really appreciate that, David. Thank you so much. So the first, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, C-Rock, our good buddy here, C-Rock. So, Mr. Mike, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Hey, Dave. Nice to meet you. Mike C-Rock. I wanted to ask you if you could go a little deeper into sponsoring and power sponsoring. Some of those nomenclature that a lot of people on the call probably don't understand, may not ask you to go deeper on that. So yeah. I wanted to dig a little deeper on that with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so for me, it's a transformation of what is called a gatekeeper. You know, most people that are in sales or in life see people as obstructing them from what they want. They're a gatekeeper. I look upon everybody in life as someone that's sponsoring me. So I use a series of questions to see how I can be of value to everybody here, and also to see if they know somebody that could help me. And I use a series of questions. I don't just straight out ask. I use a series of questions. What do you do today? What do you like about it? Would it help you if I did this? You know, I just keep asking questions. I'm more interested than interesting. So a sponsor is not a gatekeeper. A sponsor is someone that can find somebody to help you. And when you let someone help you, you make them feel good. You make them happy. Once again, people who witness it get happy. It's a seriously powerful virus I want to spread. And then two, a power sponsor is someone that you say, hey, do you know anybody that can help me? And they're like, yeah, right here, 2 thumbs right here. You know, I can help you, and I got other people that can help you too. That's a power sponsor. And then a decision maker is somebody that just says, yes, I'll help you, and gets it all done for you. So there are no gatekeepers. People create their own resistance. And what they do is they get afraid to ask, and then nobody gets any value. And I'm talking quantitative value. Some of you may have seen my favorite video I've done ever, when I tell the problem with the world is you got too many connectors, people that think of gatekeepers, objections, voids, shortages, obstacles. They create their own interference to what they want. And the reason is they're all into Barney relationships. The purple dinosaur, that guy Barney, right? He has that song, I love you, you love me, nobody makes any money. You know, knick-knack, paddywhack, we're all going broke. That's because a connector is a effing joke. No, seriously, like, be quantitative. Like for me, I want to provide real value, not subjective value. I got enough hugs. I got 4 kids, a beautiful wife, and a puppy dog. If I want a hug, I know where to get them and give them. I want to help people make money, help people, and have fun. You cannot be poor enough to make someone rich, but you can be rich enough to make someone rich. And that's always been my philosophy. I'm not embarrassed about making a lot of money because it comes through me for other people. Greatest things I've ever bought are like community centers in Africa, helping my family out. Nothing is for me anymore. It's all through me. And I hope to inspire you guys to be the same.
Thank you very much. And we have another question from Mr. Johannes. I just tried to.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Pretty good. So I was just basically, I want to know, because you spoke about like discipline and habits. So if possible, could you walk us through your daily routine, or what practices early on specifically, and even now, did you do to like implement to kind of maintain or help your consistency with your habits and discipline?
Right. So everyone should have 2 routines. One routine is your set routine when there's nothing that changes in your life, and one's an adaptable routine. So my set routine is specific on being a student of my calendar. When I say student of my calendar, I study, I put attention in what I'm doing, putting intention into it, and it equals the coincidences that I want. It's where people think I'm lucky. Attention plus intention equals coincidence. And I study what I have planned for the day. I study what I don't have planned for today, which I call the white space or blank space. And I study sleep. Sleep is a habit we all share. It's 8 hours a day on average. Make sure you're sleeping well, and you study sleep, you practice sleep, and get a sleep mentor, do whatever you need to do. That routine is set. I am the same 4 a.m. to 4:20. I meditate 10 minutes to get ready. Then I go work out for a minimum of an hour. Then I have family time. Then I have my coaching calls. Then I execute on the student calendar at 4:45. I have coaching calls at 5:30 to 7:30. Everything goes off. I can do research, etc. 9 o'clock's intimate time with my family. Make any choices I want. And I try to stay up every day until 11 if I can, so I can wake up for tomorrow. Now, adaptable routine. An adaptable routine is based off of my values. So for me, my adaptable routine says the number one thing that's most important in my life is my health. If I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of others. And since everything comes through me, I need to take care of myself. So number one, when I start setting up my day, my routine, when it's adaptable, because COVID happens, families in town, bachelor party, whatever else happens, I got to travel to Europe, to China, wherever. Number one, minimum 1 hour a day with my health. 2, my family's most important after my own health. Minimum 30 minutes a day with my wife, minimum 30 minutes a day with my 10-year-old son, minimum 2 minutes a day with my 3 teenage daughters. I asked for 5. I'm a good dad. They gave me 2. Minimum of 1 minute a day with my mom to tell her that I'm happy, I'm healthy, I love her, and appreciate her. And then a minimum of 10 minutes a day studying my calendar to execute on the calendar. So adaptable routines, set routines, making sure that you're utilizing and looking at it with attention, intention for the coincidences. Use the Meltzer kaleidoscope, a lens of productivity, a lens of accessibility, and a lens of gratitude will give you that power of 64, the most you can get out of the day, so that you can be happy by making a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun.
Amazing. Mr. Meltzer, I don't know if you have more time.
I'll take one more question. I'll take one more.
One more question.
Then I got the
One
family.
more.
I got to hit my family mark.
We understand.
Completely understand. So let's see, Mr. Tony, would you like to take over to see which is the question that it was in order?
So just go in order here, guys. We have a question from Maggie. I will unmute you, Maggie, so you could ask David here.
Hi, David.
Hi.
My name is Maggie. So I have a question. How many years did it take you to accomplish your growth mindset with your goals and accomplishments?
Well, I'm still on that journey. I think it's a practice. I don't know if I'm 1% of the way there or 99% of the way there. A big shift in the paradigm for me was 13 years ago, 2 years before I lost everything. I lost over $100 million in 2008. 2006, I'm going to end with my favorite story. Sorry, Tony, I'm sure you've heard this one, but I have to tell it. This is where my practice started. When I was 30 years old, my father, who was estranged, he left when he was 5. He was my superhero till I was 10, but he forgot my birthday at 10 and then lied to me and said he didn't believe in birthdays. So I hated my father because he was a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, a back-end seller, and I didn't respect him at all. But at 30 years old, my dad gave me, and this was in 1998, to give you some dates. In 1998, my dad gave me a jacket for my birthday after 20 years of not having a birthday present. And that jacket, I was crying when I put it on because it fit perfectly. And I opened the jacket and he had torn out all the lining and pockets. I got furious once again, called my dad, attacked him and said, "What's going on? Why are you punishing me? Why would you do this to me? Why would you give me a jacket I can't wear?" And he said, "It's because it's not for wearing. I want you to hang it in the closet and remind you every day that you're just like me, that money is not your God, that money will not buy you happiness or love, that you cannot live your life for money. You will be buried in that jacket, son. You'll be buried in that jacket because you can't take anything with you when you're gone. I told him, F you. I can't believe you. I'm nothing like you. You're a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, a back-end seller, an overseller. I'll never be like you. F you. And I hung up. 8 years later in 2006, 2 years before I lost everything, my best friend and I went golfing, and he was the boy who asked my wife. I knew my wife in the 4th grade. I asked him at 6th grade camp if he'd ask her to go steady with me, and she said no. Tell him to ask me himself. We were very close friends for a long time. I was running Leigh Steinberg Sports Entertainment, so most notable sports agency in the world. So I asked my friend, I go, why don't you hang out with me? We go to the Super Bowl together, the Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby. We can hang out with the biggest celebrities, athletes, and entertainers. And he looked me right in the eye and he said, because I don't like who you hang out with and what you guys do. I said, what are you talking about? I don't do what those guys do. He said, David, you can lie to me, but don't lie to yourself. I'm not hanging out with you. And I left crying from the golf course because I knew what he said was true. 2 weeks after that, I came home at 5:30 in the morning, intoxicated and high. I was at the Grammy Awards with a rapper named Little John, who's become fairly famous since then even. And my wife was waiting for me at 5:30 in the morning. And she told me as I walked in that she was going to leave me. She wasn't happy, that I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, or not only would she leave, but I probably would be dead. And I told her to F off, told her how dare she, after everything I've done for her and the kids. I was furious. I went to sleep. I woke up even madder. And I was thinking, how could I get divorced and take everything that I had bought and all my kids, and what lawyer could I call? And then I looked over in the closet and there was that jacket staring at me. I probably hadn't seen that jacket in 10 years. And somehow it was just staring at me. And it hit me that I was just like my dad. Everything that I hated in life was me. And it was the most humbling, changing experience of my life. And from that day on, when I took stock in who I was, in gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration, and gratitude, it makes my unbelievable past, present, and future all bright. Forgiveness gives me peace. Accountability gives me control. And inspiration allows me to get there. And when I realized I could live my life with those 4 things and take stock in it every day, that's when this practice started. And I haven't finished, but I has practiced every single day. And I was well prepared in 2008 to lose everything. And I'm well prepared in 2020, well prepared to not only, prosper myself, but allow and help other people prosper as well. And I appreciate all the time that you guys spent with me on a Sunday night. And please email me. If everyone can register for my free trainings, Tony, if you can get the registration link, I'd love for everyone to join me. If you can't make it, I'll send you the replay if you register. Text me at 949-298-2905. I'll do anything to help you.
Sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much one more time, sir. It's absolutely an honor to have you here on a Sunday night especially. And thank you for inspiring us. Give us some advices that they're powerful and empowering our group of entrepreneurs. And we're gonna make sure that we'll remember this day. And we're gonna follow you forward on you, and make sure we're gonna have it for the rest of the community that we have here, the rest of the entrepreneurs that they were not able to join us tonight. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna get the message, and they're gonna follow you on your Friday session that you have, and everything else that you're gonna post out there. I'm gonna keep them posted.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Appreciate
you very much.
Yourself. Do good deeds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.